guys. Happy Thursday. It is still technically Thursday, although it's been a terribly long day for me. I spent 12 hours trying to pull the transmission out of my van. It is officially shot, and trying to get that fixed. I'm not very good at working in my car, so I'm still not done, but hopefully we'll get there tomorrow. Praise God that I've got Colby helping me out. But anyway, I'm tired, but I didn't want to miss this opportunity to visit with you. I'm excited to be back in our groups again. I hope you're excited about that. I know the students are, and rightfully so. Um, I'm excited about getting to finish up the Ten Commandments. This is a great lesson. Once again, Lifeway does a beautiful job of explaining the commandments, explaining the context and the verses, and really hope you'll go over that well and be prepared to share those with the students to help them understand that. Just a couple of things I wanted to share with you. Um, I think the way that God laid out the commandments, um, the order of them, is pretty significant. The fact that he starts with how we interact with him first, obviously, is of most importance. But then the next group that he speaks to is the home, and the lesson talks about this a little bit. Um, our most important relationships are our families. That's not just something we say. That's very true. That's a biblical concept and a biblical statement that our kids need to understand. I've told many young men and many young ladies over the course of the years that the person that they're interested in, if they really want to know what their character's like, watch how they treat not only mom and dad, but how they treat their siblings, because that same attitude and those same actions will inevitably be replicated someday if you end up marrying that person. I've seen that to be true. I suspect you have as well. Um, but home life really does matter. That's why I wanted to broadcast to you from my home. I'm in my kitchen. You can see our lovely wallpaper. I really love the little sign there over my shoulder. Such a good reminder of what we're supposed to be doing as believers, and I want to do that more. But guys, again, what we do with our family, how we treat our family matters significantly. I really believe that we'll never be able to truly love people outside of our family until we truly love our family. And that's the order that God set up for us. It's interesting, too. You've probably seen these studies. The vast majority of crimes committed in this country are committed by people who had pretty lousy home lives. Again, that's not always true. Sometimes people have great home lives and they turn out to be awful individuals. But by and large, most crimes are committed by people who had bad relationships with their parents in particular. And I'll take this second to point this out to you too. The fifth commandment, a lot of times, I say this somewhat in jest, ends up being a parent's favorite commandment. You know, we like to point this out to our kids. Hey, you need to honor me. Hey, you need to honor me. And they do. Paul, if you'll remember in Ephesians chapter 6, verse 4, very quickly points out, hey, mom and dad, yeah, they're supposed to honor you, but you're also supposed to be diligently working not to provoke them to anger. And he's specific on how we provoke them to anger, and that's by not setting an example for them on how to be following Jesus. So it's a give and take there. So point that out to them as well. I'll end on this commandment with this thought. I tell students all the time, it's their job to honor mom and dad, and God is going to judge them by whether or not they did that well, and then God is going to judge their parents, and I'm talking to myself here too, but gosh, both as a youth pastor and a parent. God's going to judge us on whether or not we were faithful and whether or not we were diligent in pointing out the truth to our kids. So it's their job to be faithful to their parents and thus to God, and it's our job to be faithful to God. And so help them to know that they can honor mom and dad, even if mom and dad are lousy, and God's still going to take care of them. Last thing I point out to you that I think is pretty interesting about this part of the commandments. If you look at them real closely, the remaining five are really just heart tests. God is literal. He literally wants us to keep these commandments. And by the way, all of them are confirmed and affirmed again in the New Testament. But when I say that they're heart tests, I simply mean, think about the way that Jesus explained it. And he did this with a couple of them. Remember, murder is about the heart. Okay, Jesus is caring about what's going on inside of us. Hatred and adultery. All of those are brought up. But when I say it's a heart test, I simply mean when we break commandments, ultimately what we're doing is we're saying, God, I don't trust you. Okay, when we steal, we're saying, God, I don't trust you provide for me. When we lie, we're saying, God, I don't trust you to be my all sufficient one so that I don't have to worry about what other people think about it. Because usually that's what our lies are. We're trying to impress somebody, right? We're trying to cover up the truth so they don't think less of us. Same thing when we covet. God, I don't trust you to provide for me. When we commit adultery, we're saying, God, I don't trust you to have given me a spouse that gives me everything that I need. And so it's a heart test. So help them to see that when we break commandments, it's not just a mistake. We didn't just goof up. Really, we're showing that we don't trust God to be our all provider, that He wants to be for us. Help them to see that. And remember that yourselves too. I need to remember that as well. Guys, I love y'all. I hope you have a great week. And I can't wait to see you on Sunday. Bye.